Now, I know that y'all are sitting out there and y'all saying it's Mikal Bridges. He's a good player, but it ain't like you got KD or somebody. Bump all that, okay? Chemistry matters. Reliability matters. Consistency matters. Defense matters. The brother can shoot. The brother can play. I'm sorry. I like this move by the New York Knicks.
With the Celtics blowing yet another double-digit lead in the second half to go down 3-1 to the New York Knicks, we can all sit here and talk about what the Celtics need to fix and all of their issues. But we're not giving enough credit to the New York Knicks. They have went out and taken these games from the Celtics, mainly due to the play of Mikal Bridges. His fourth quarter in Game 4 versus the Celtics was the best quarter I've seen from any player in these 2025 playoffs. So when we're talking about how great he has been in this second round, we have to start with Game 4. The quarter starts off with Jalen Brunson on the bench, meaning Mikal is the first option on the floor. The Knicks run a horn set for Bridges that turns into a middle ball screen. Derek White goes over the screen, which gives Bridges an opportunity to put him in jail. Then he's patient enough to get to his spot and hit the big time bucket. Tom Thibodeau liked what he saw from that possession, so the very next possession he calls the exact same play, and it's the exact same result for the Knicks. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Knicks call the very same play for the third time in a row, but this time the Celtics concede the switch. But instead of watching Mikal go to work, the Celtics tell Derek White to go double team, which forces Mikal to give the ball up. Bridges does a good job finding Josh Hart, and he misses a contested mid-range that the Celtics will live with. Instead of having Mikal attack from the top of the key, now they want him attacking from the side, so they have him set a little go screen just to get his momentum going downhill. Because he's a step ahead of Derek White, Al Horford is forced to switch the screen. He looks to attack but doesn't have anything, then he realizes Derek White is stuck guarding Cat in the paint, so he dumps it down for Cat to get an easy 2 points. At the 8:53 mark, Jalen Brunson gets back into the game, so he's now the primary ball handler. He has the matchup he wants in Al Horford, so the Celtics send 2 to get the ball out of his hands, but he kicks it to Bridges, who gets right to his spot and hits the tough mid-range over the 7.5-foot wingspan of Kristaps Porzingis. Bridges then spends a possession in the corner not getting the ball, but he doesn't let that affect his defense. On the ensuing defensive possession, he's on the weak side when Drew Holiday gets a wide open 3. So he steps up in front of Al Horford, boxes out, and forces Horford into an over-the-back foul that gets everyone in the Garden on their feet, and you can just see the energy buzzing around. That energy was absolutely infectious. 1 minute later, they call a middle ball screen for Mikal Bridges to go to work. And he doesn't disappoint as he gets to that mid-range yet again and hits another big-time bucket. Directly after hitting the bucket, he sees he's matched up with Derek White and Deuce McBride is matched up with Al Horford. So he immediately calls for Deuce to switch it so they get the matchups right. And that ability to think ahead pays off. The Celtics run a ball screen on the other side of the court, meaning that Bridges is the low man and he's responsible for taking Porzingis when he dives to the rim. And he does it perfectly. He meets Porzingis early, doesn't foul, and forces the miss. And if Bridges didn't switch with Deuce McBride earlier in the possession, this would have likely been a dunk or at least a foul for free throws. Now we fast forward to a couple minutes later where the Knicks have built themselves a 5-point cushion with 3 minutes left in the game. The Celtics bottle up Jalen Brunson on this possession, so he swings it to Mikal Bridges with 3 seconds left, and I don't think he's hit the rim in the fourth quarter. And as great as his offense was in this quarter, it was his defense that sealed the game for the Knicks. Bridges sees that the play is a pin down for Jaylen Brown, so he gets on top and top locks the screen. He disrupts Jaylen Brown's rhythm just enough for him to drop the ball when coming off the screen, which then leads to an OG Anunoby dagger dunk to put the Garden on fire. Now we hop back in the time machine and go to game 2 where Mikal Bridges yet again won the Knicks the game. And yes, I'm saying that Mikal Bridges has won the Knicks these games. I know Jalen Brunson has been out of this world, but he would not have gotten the opportunity to be Mr. Captain Clutch if Mikal Bridges wasn't doing what he's doing. The fourth quarter starts the same way it did in game 4. They run that horn set into a middle ball screen for Mikal Bridges. Peyton Pritchard goes over, so Bridges puts him in jail and shoots over him for the easy mid-range shot. About a minute later, Peyton Pritchard hits a big three, and you can see how nervous the Knicks stars are. But don't worry, Mikal Bridges will bail them out as he hits a mid-range shot to give the Knicks a glimmer of hope. The very next possession, he plays good defense on Kristaps Porzingis, but Al Horford gets the air ball for a layup. Then, after some tomfoolery by both teams where they decide to play Twister, Mikal Bridges finds himself down the court for another big-time three to keep the Knicks in the game. Although the Knicks are still in striking distance, they need buckets badly. Bridges runs get action with Mitchell Robinson, and then he takes Jrue Holiday to work, just rising up over him for another mid-range jump shot. The ensuing possession, Bridges comes off a screen looking for his mid-range again, but the Celtics run a very nice triple switch to hinder that action from developing. So the Knicks reset the action, and yet again Mikal Bridges takes Jrue Holiday to work to cut the lead down to 10. The Knicks are starting to make a dent in that lead, and after they get another key stop, Bridges finds himself near that three-point line in transition to hit a huge three to cut the lead down to 7. Now the reason I love Mikal Bridges so much is because he's such a selfless player. Most players that are having the quarter that he's had so far want it to keep going, and they keep looking for their shot. And when Mikal Bridges catches this ball on the wing with 10 seconds left in the shot clock, he can easily decide to go to work and try to force up a shot on a all-world defender. But he doesn't. He sees Al Horford is a step late on the rotation, so he makes a touch pass to Josh Hart for an easy layup to cut the lead down to 5. That leads us to the final possession, where a big-time free throw by Captain Clutch puts the Knicks up 1, and you know the rest.
Time here. It's Tatum. Robinson's on him. Tatum maneuvering. Oh, the ball knocked away! Another great defensive play for the Knicks! They've got it! They've won it! New York has gone up 2 games to none!
In Game 2 and Game 4, Mikal Bridges was making shots, but in Game 1, he couldn't throw a fish into the ocean. He shot 3 for 13, and in the fourth quarter, this was his stat line. But his impact on the defensive side changed the entire game. It starts on this possession where yet again he top locks a ball screen to prevent the Celtics from running their action. After Jaylen Brown fails to attack, Jrue Holiday tries to attack the basket, but since Mikal Bridges stepped up early, that forces Jrue Holiday to pick the ball up earlier, and that allows Josh Hart to get a hand inside for the steal. With the Knicks hitting a big time 3 and the lead being cut to 1, the Knicks need a big stop. And Mikal Bridges delivers that as he fights over the screen just enough for Luke Kornet to be called for the offensive foul. What Mikal Bridges does so well are the little things that won't show up in the stat sheet. Mikal Bridges creates a good shot for Josh Hart, who just happens to miss the shot. Now in transition, look how hard Mikal Bridges hustles back on defense to get matched up with Jason Tatum. If he doesn't sprint all the way back to match up with Jason Tatum, then Tatum will have the mismatch he wants in Jalen Brunson. But because he matched up with Tatum, the Celtics are left with a semi-contested 3. The missed 3 allows New York to get out in transition, and the Knicks get much needed free throws to chip into the lead. The Knicks tie the game, and now the Celtics are desperate, and I mean desperate, for a bucket. When Jaylen Brown decides to take Jalen Brunson to the paint, OG Anunoby has to step up, which then forces Mikal Bridges into a 2-on-1 between Tatum and Derek White, and he stunts at it perfectly. His stunt on Tatum kills Boston's momentum for the possession, and although Tatum gets a layup that he maybe should have made, they would have had a much better look had Mikal Bridges not played great defense. However, the Celtics were able to retake momentum, and now with OG Anunoby stumbling, this play looks like it's going nowhere. Until Mikal Bridges makes himself available for the outlet pass, and he flips it to Jalen Brunson for the much needed 3. The Knicks were constantly playing an uphill battle this game, and it's looking like the Celtics will get the stop they need to regain control of the game when OG Anunoby takes a bad 3 at the end of the shot clock. That is, until Mikal Bridges anticipates and times the rebound perfectly to tip it back out to save the Knicks possession. A possession where Captain Clutch is able to get Jaylen Brown off his feet and get to the line to retie the game. The Knicks' comeback couldn't be completed in regulation, so we head to overtime. This entire Knicks defensive possession was absolutely elite. Cat did a great job rotating everywhere and helping, and it's capped off with Mikal Bridges blocking a shot for a shot clock violation. The next possession, Bridges comes down and airballs a mid-range jump shot, but the reason Bridges has won a national championship is because he never lets his bad offensive plays dictate his defensive ability. When Jaylen Brown tries to drive into his gap, he gets a hand in there, then he also gets a hand on the kick-out pass, which leads to a steal and a big-time and one dunk from OG Anunoby. Because he played good on defense, now his offense will build off of that as he hits a big-time 3 to extend the lead to 6. The result of overtime is the Knicks getting a 3-point lead with 3 seconds left, and you already know what happened.
Bound. It's off to Brown. Bridges there. They hold it. They trample. It's over. The Knicks have won. What a comeback.
If Mikal Bridges is able to play at such an elite level for the rest of the playoffs, my pick to win the NBA Finals will be the New York Knicks. In my opinion, this Knicks team has great parallels to that Bucks team in 2021 that won the NBA Finals. They have their go-to scorer, they have their stretch big, and then they have a plethora of two-way wing defenders that can also get you 20 points in any game. And for whatever reason, the Thunder and the Timberwolves don't really scare me that much, so I do think the Knicks will win the NBA Finals. With that being said, if you made it towards the end of the video, make sure to leave a like and just leave a comment how you feeling today. I love all of y'all, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.